Okay, so I'm here with Armando from the Boxing Corner. Say hi,
Hey, how's it
Armando.
going, guys?
Thank you. Right now, we're just going to talk about a lot of the fights that are in April, how we see them going, and if we're going to enjoy them or not. So, firstly, Armando, I'm going to ask you a question about the first fight, which is Brian Villora versus Juan Francisco Estrada. What do you know about this fight, or do you know anything about either fighter?
Well, I've definitely heard of Brian Valora a lot in the past. I know he fights at the lighter weights for the most part. That's where he's pretty much been at throughout his whole career. I'm gonna be honest. I know very little about him, but I'm definitely gonna be checking out this fight because I'm sure he's got a ton of fights underneath him. It's just, again, like I said, just haven't checked him out as much as I should have. So this is kind of a little bit of a new experience seeing him, in the ring. So I'll get a better feel of him on how he fights. And obviously the guy he's fighting, never heard of him either. So I'm a little bit green in that aspect. So I'll have to definitely check him out to see how he flows in the ring. So.
Okay, yeah. Well, just for a bit of background for you then, this is a title fight. It's for the WBO and the WBA flyweight titles. You see, Valora, he's actually 32 years old now. He is a bit of a big puncher, and he's got tons of experience in the ring at different levels. Estrada's only 22 years old. He is a fairly big puncher with 18 knockouts to his record, but he has lost his last fight against the savage known as Roman Gonzalez, who you also have to check out. This guy is a savage puncher. But he did survive the distance with this guy and lost the decision, which means he does have a good chin.
Good.
So overall, what I would say on this fight is I would look at Valora to win this fight via decision.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, we'll move on to the next fight. What do you think about Wilfredo Vasquez Jr. versus Yashutaka Ishimoto?
Well, yeah, that second name is definitely a tongue twister. The Wilfredo Vasquez Jr. He's fought a lot of fights. He's fought a lot of really good fighters. He just recently, I think last year, he fought Nonito Donaire. So some people think he may be a little bit on the back end of his career, but I think he'll give anybody some trouble. And I don't really know much about this Ishimoto guy, but I think with Wilfredo Vasquez's his experience, I'm pretty sure he's gonna come out the winner. Is this for a title shot, or is this for like an eliminator for a title shot?
No, it's just for an intercontinental title. I think it's. You see,
Immortal.
yeah, basically Wilfredo, I think he's definitely on his comeback trail to the world scene.
Yeah.
But he's taking on like a Japanese fringe contender in this fight. Bit of an easier fight for him because he did take a bit of a pasting at the hands to Nonito Donaire.
Yeah, he did do well.
Mm-hmm.
It just eventually, actually at the beginning of the fight, it was actually a little bit tactical, sort of. But then he started opening up, and then Nonito actually started to kind of counter him a little bit more. And then I think Nonito actually scored 2 knockdowns in that fight, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, he's definitely a seasoned vet. He's not a pushover, Wilfredo, and I'm sure he's gonna give this Ishimoto more than he can handle, and I'm sure his hand will be raised at the end of the fight. So.
Yeah, I agree. I think Wilfredo's going to be too fast. He's got a very nice, accurate jab. He's going to hit and stop this guy. He's been hit and stopped before, so he'll get past this fringe contender.
Yeah, definitely.
Next up, we've got Roman Martinez versus Diego Magdaleno.
Okay. Now, these are two fighters that I've actually seen Diego Magdaleno. He's got a younger brother as well. I actually prefer his younger brother when it comes to boxing because I think his younger brother is a bit more talented. But Diego definitely is definitely a contender. I'm actually kind of happy that he's getting this opportunity, getting a title shot because Roman Martinez, he won the vacant title on the Chavez Jr. and Sergio Martinez undercard. It was a savage fight. It was pretty much a Puerto Rican versus a Mexican, and they called him Rocky Martinez. He ended up coming up the victor, and he actually recently fought Juan Carlos Burgos a couple of weeks ago. Heavily contested fight. Roman is one of those kind of fighters that not much of a boxer. He just likes to go in there and throw a lot. And Diego's not too much of that kind of a fighter, so it's going to be very interesting how that's going to pan out. I can definitely see it'll be a close competitive fight in my opinion, and for some reason I think maybe Diego might pull off the upset. In my opinion, I can definitely be wrong. You know, in the boxing game, Mark, shit happens all the time. I mean, you can be the most, dedicated, accomplished boxer out there, and lo and behold, you're on your ass, and you're getting counted out, and the fight's over. So anything could definitely happen. So that's actually a fight I'm actually looking forward to because I know both guys very well. So that's something I'm definitely keeping my eye out for come this weekend, April 6th, I believe.
Yeah, just want to ask you a quick question about this fight, or the last fight, in fact. How did you see that fight go in the last one, the draw? Did you think that was a fair decision, or was it a bit of a robbery?
The Burgos and the Martinez?
That's correct, yeah.
You see, this is where it gets tricky because in boxing, me as a judge, as a unofficial, unlicensed, just some guy watching boxing
with a few beers.
Exactly. I'm the kind of guy that I kind of see, even though Burgos was landing maybe the heavier shots, kind of similar to Arthur Abraham and Robert Stieglitz, the first fight. I thought Arthur Abraham and Robert Stieglitz, the first fight, while Abraham was landing the heavier shots, I felt Robert Stieglitz was more active. But they gave it to Abraham. And that's kind of how I felt with Burgos and Roman. Roman was definitely more active, definitely throwing a lot more punches, but Burgos was landing the heavier punches. So it's kind of like you got a guy landing, 8 to 10 power shots and a guy who's throwing a shitload of punches, landing some, but not landing as effective and not doing as much damage. So it was kind of a seesaw kind of effect for me because it's just you can't just stand as Burgos. You're there to take the guy's title from him. You can't just kind of stand back and try to counter the guy or land a couple of shots each round and expect to win the fight. You got to go in there and take the champ's belt from him. And a lot of people felt Burgos did enough to win the fight, and the draw kicked in and people were angry, and I can kind of see where it could be a draw, but I kind of felt Roman kind of edged him a little bit because, again, like I said, he was more active. He was putting a lot of pressure on him, in my opinion. And I think the draw was sort of fair, in my opinion, but I felt Rocky won the fight just by a slim, hair, so to speak. But if they would have given it to Burgos, I would have been 100% fine with that, too. It wasn't that big of a deal, but that's just my 2 cents on that. So
no problem. Yeah, I actually thought that the cleaner punches were landed by Burgos, but
yes, absolutely.
At the end of the day, the draw happened. You can't argue with it. I think that Roman Martinez has pretty much found his level now in the division. He's decent in terms of fighting for the title. However, when he's
not gonna last. Yeah, he's not gonna last. He's not gonna last.
Whenever he fights the better guys, he's gonna come off second best.
Yeah, he's not gonna last. But what weight is that though? 126? Is that
130?
130. You know what? 130 isn't that stacked, to be honest, man. I mean, who are the champs around at 130? Now that I think about it,
well, there's
trying to think right now who the champs are.
There's one Japanese guy.
The Uchiyama or something like that.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
He's had the title for so long, but it's not a very strong division, to be honest.
True.
I'm not sure if like Mikey Garcia is gonna move up soon, or Salido or Ponce de Leon, but for the most part, Rocky Martinez will probably have that belt for a little while until something bigger comes. Maybe the 126 pounders move up, and then he'll definitely have a handful against Daniel Ponce de Leon or Abner Mares or Juanma or Salido or any of those guys. But he'll be secure for a little while. I'm not saying for years, but I think he'll have another title or two, shot, defending his title before some of the bigger fish come up and swoop it away from him, in my opinion.
Unless Diego takes the belt off him.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I kind of feel Diego is going to do that, to be honest.
True. So we're going to look at the next fight then, and that is Amir Mansour versus, I think it's Devin Vargas, or it might be Delvin Vargas. I may have just wrote this down wrong.
Okay.
Basically, if you don't know much about Amir, Mansour, he's quite an athletic guy. He's actually 40 years old, though. He's got a similar style to David Haye, and he's quite a big puncher. Looking at this other guy.
He's that heavyweight, right?
Yeah, this is a heavyweight fight, yeah.
Yeah, I've heard of him. I think he might have fought on ESPN Friday Night Fights. I could definitely be wrong on that. Don't 100% quote me on that, but the name just sounds so familiar. I think he's the American heavyweight, isn't he?
Yeah, he's American, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, man, the name sounds so familiar, but I just can't seem to put my head around. I'm gonna feel like an idiot because I'm definitely gonna look him up after this, and I'm gonna feel like an idiot had not talked about him. But so
no, don't worry about it. Basically, looking at this other guy, it's a decent fight for a domestic level heavyweight. I want to see what test it provides for Amir, and then we'll see where they go from there.
Yeah.
Next fight is Nonito Donaire versus Guillermo Rigondeaux.
Yes, the little big fight is what I call that right there. It's probably, besides Abner Mares and Nonito Donaire, I think this is the next richest fight at those smaller weights. A lot of people give I naturally like both guys. I try to be as unbiased as possible. I'm more of a fan of Nonito than Guillermo. I think he definitely has more experience, a lot more fights underneath his belt. But Guillermo he's very, while he may not be the most entertaining in a sense of, the crowd going wild, Froch, Lucian Boutte going crazy in the audience. He definitely is a pedigree. I think he won his fight he won the title against Rico Ramos.
True.
A fight that he completely blew Rico Ramos away in no time. I think it lasted 3 or 4 rounds, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's going to be sort of a tactical fight. I think Nonito's going to have some trouble with him because Guillermo doesn't allow himself to open up very much. He's sort of a defensive-minded fighter, very fast. Who would you fancy in a sense of who's faster between Donaire and between Guillermo?
That's a good question. One I was going to actually ask you.
What a coincidence, okay.
I know. I would say they're about even. They're different, you see. Donaire, he's got speed of combinations.
Yes.
Right, he throws volume, and he's got fast volume punches. Rigondeaux has got speed in single shots.
Yeah. So
if the single shot's strong enough and quick enough to land first, then he is. But if Donaire can open up, so a nice amount of volume on him, then, he's got the advantage in speed.
Guillermo was actually also on that Chavez and Martinez undercard, I believe. And if I'm not mistaken, I think he fought a guy named Robert Marroquin.
Yeah, that's correct.
And that fight actually had me a little bit worried for Guillermo because Guillermo, while sort of pitched almost a shutout, there was moments in the fight where Robert would land, and Guillermo, I wouldn't say he was in a little bit of trouble, but he definitely was a little bit shaken by a couple of punches throughout the fight, and that had me extremely worried because Guillermo's kind of a defensive-based fighter. He doesn't give you a lot, he doesn't give you a lot in the fight, but he does pick his shots, very wisely. And if Donaire actually lands, because Donaire's a very calculated counterpuncher as well, is it going to be where if Nonito lands, is it going to trouble him? Because Nonito has been in these little brawls. While he's probably better of a technician, he does have he does at times get into these little brawls. And I kind of feel Guillermo hasn't really been, I'm just wondering when Nonito does land those little pot shots or those little hits, how is Guillermo going to land? Because even though he had a huge, Olympic background, very talented, he still is sort of new to the game. I think he's only got 12, 13 fights underneath his belt, and he's a champ.
Yeah.
Right? Something of that nature.
That's right. What didn't Guillermo also get dropped in one of his fights?
That's I can't think of it at the top of my head, to be honest. But he fought? What, Rico Ramos, and then after Rico, who did he fight? Do you remember who he fought after Rico Ramos?
Yeah, I'm just about to check it out now.
See, I'm trying to think because I know he's fought.
Oh, it was Ricardo Cordoba.
Okay.
Where he won a split decision after he went down in the 6th.
Ah, okay. You know what? I don't even remember that fight. I'm sure HBO televised. I just don't even remember that fight, to be honest. But overall, I think the fight is between both Guillermo and Nonito is going to be. It'll probably test you a little bit. It'll probably test your patience. It'll probably be a technical fight, but I think late in the fight, I think Nonito's definitely going to pressure him a little bit. And I'm actually leaning towards Nonito to win based on, he's been around for a while. Nonito, he's beaten a lot of guys. Guillermo's kind of, he's a little bit more green than Nonito Donaire, in my opinion. But again, like I said, in the boxing game, all it takes is that one punch and you're on your ass, and he's got another belt, Yeah. So I'm
just going to run through a few attributes with you, pal. The first one will be power. Who do you think's got the better power?
Between the two, I think Guillermo's got more power. In like you said, in that one-time shot, like that one kind of hitter-quitter kind of type thing. Then I think Nonito beats you up for a couple of rounds, and then he gets you out of there, as opposed to Guillermo's a little bit more fast. He's definitely faster, in my opinion. And with that speed and that little power, even though Nonito definitely looks bigger than Guillermo when you see him side by side, he's definitely going to look bigger come fight night in the ring. I just think that those little quick punches from Guillermo are definitely going to. I definitely think Guillermo's a little bit stronger than Nonito Donaire.
True. So you said speed is with Rigondeaux.
Yes.
Defense is obviously with Rigondeaux.
Yes.
What do you think about stamina?
You know what? I think Nonito's got the stamina because I think he's to be honest, I think he is the big fish at the smaller weights between 118 to maybe even 126. In my opinion, I definitely think he is the top guy at 118 and 122. Again, he does all his testing 24/7, 365 days a year. I definitely believe that he's, like I say, he's very seasoned. He's a veteran. I actually think he's probably the top 10 pound for pound right now in the game now.
Yeah.
I think he is definitely going to be ready for 12 rounds. I think Guillermo is ready for 12 rounds as well.
Just not at Nonito's pace.
Yeah. I think if Nonito fought a faster paced fight, I think Guillermo probably in the later rounds will probably tire a little bit. Because I don't think Guillermo has Guillermo, not that I know of, has he gone?
He's gone the distance. He's gone the 12-round distance twice.
Oh, okay. There you
but
go.
once again, at his pace, at his defensive pace. So.
Oh yeah, definitely. His fights are definitely fought in his style. He doesn't like to fight a very aggressive fight. So when you got a Nonito constantly moving and trying to attack at different little corners, who knows? Round 8, 9, 10, how that's going to affect Guillermo.
Exactly. So, we don't have a clue. What about chin?
I'm sorry, excuse me?
What about the chin?
Chin? I think I would have to say Donaire has a better chin than Guillermo because, like I said a little bit earlier, Robert definitely hit him a couple of times. Hit Guillermo a couple of times that had his legs a little bit wobbly. I'm not saying he was in deep shit, but he was definitely a little bit bothered by those punches. Donaire has been he does kind of get hit a lot, as you can tell sometimes in his post-fight interviews with either Kellerman or whomever. He's a little bit marked up. So I don't even. Has he ever been down that you're aware of, Donaire?
I'll just check, but I don't think so. Or he might.
Me neither. He likes to fight. I mean, he's not. Donaire isn't a fighter that isn't scared to take a punch, to land a punch. Obviously, even in the I think the Vasquez fight, he had a busted up hand, and so he's out there trying to make the fight happen. And when you're a little bit loose like that in the ring, you're bound to take some punches, because like I said, he's been marked up in the past in his post-fight interviews, and he's he'll throw it.
Apparently he's not been down, apparently not.
Oh, okay.
So, but it's the first time for everything.
Oh, definitely. Nobody's prone to not getting their ass on that canvas.
True. So, next fight then. In fact, I'll tell you who I think's going to win. I think Donaire will win it. I think you might take a decision.
Yeah.
But it'll be close.
Uh-huh.
Other than that, Brian Rose versus... what's this guy's name? Joaquin Acklin.
Alcine, yeah. I think Brian Rose, obviously a 154-pounder. I'm not sure he's got a British title.
Yep.
I'm not sure. I've seen a lot of his past couple of fights. He's a decent domestic level fighter. I don't think he'll ever get to championship level, in my opinion. I don't think he'll ever get a fight against the big guys that have the titles.
Yeah.
I could definitely see him. I don't know, maybe fighting Sergey Rabchenko. One day.
That'll be a very good fight. Very good fight.
I don't think he can beat Sergey Rabchenko.
Yeah.
But because Rabchenko just annihilated this cat last weekend, and I've seen Rabchenko's fights. I've seen him fight the Ryan Rhodes fight where he definitely took care of Ryan Rhodes in that fight.
Oh, Ryan Rhodes is one of my favorites as well.
Yeah,
he shed a tear that day. Shed a tear.
He was just a little bit past it, man. He just,
yeah.
Maybe Ryan Rhodes 4 or 5 years ago might have given him, a hell of a fight. But Ryan Rhodes was doing good the first couple of rounds, and then Sergey just put it on him, and I was like, wow, that was something to behold. But
bulldoze through.
Yeah, but Brian Rhodes, I think he's a good little fighter. He won't get to the world championship level, in my opinion. He's just a fighter that he'll just be one of those kind of fighters that will just kind of stay at that level, maybe get a title shot. I don't think he's winning. And Alcine, I think he fought, who did he fight? He fought David Lemieux not long ago. I'm not sure if he got the win against David Lemieux, but he obviously again. Keep coming back to this pay-per-view, the Chavez and Martinez pay-per-view.
I think this was your favorite. This is your favorite pay-per-view, wasn't it?
Well, no, it's just all the fighters we're talking about are on that pay-per-view. So he was on that pay-per-view and he got blown out by Matthew Macklin. I think in the first round, embarrassingly knocked out by Matthew Macklin.
Was it a proper knockout, like?
I think he knocked him down twice, I believe. And I think the ref stopped it because I think he was a little bit hurt, if I'm not mistaken. But regardless, he did lose. Macklin did run through him, and Macklin got the win. But Joaquin is one of those kind of fighters that I feel like in a couple of years he's gonna be like a Nate Campbell, a Vivian Harris, a Edison Miranda. Kind of one of those guys that he's going to be a journeyman, kind of. In my opinion, he's going to be a guy who's going to probably end his career at 45 and 13 with something like that.
Yeah.
Kind of like a George Chuvalo of the heavyweight or Burt Cooper, something like that. Kind of a gatekeeper. I actually think he's probably going to give Brian Rose a little bit of a tough time. But I think in the end, Brian Rose, much younger. I think he's, 25, 26 maybe?
I think so, yeah.
Kind of young. I think in the end, Brian Rose is definitely going to get the nod. Probably by decision, in my opinion.
Yeah, I can see that. I've won good money on Brian Rose before, betting on him via decision. He's he's not a very big puncher, but he's a good puncher.
I think he has maybe 10 knockouts or something like that, maybe.
Yeah, he's not a big puncher at all.
Yeah, he's not. I like the guy. I definitely I always see that he's always fighting on a Friday. Like I'm trying to haul ass to get home from work to. Why is it that he's fighting on Friday? Like why is he not fighting on a Saturday? What's going on with that? Is it the promotional thing?
Must be the promotional thing. Who's he with?
Who's he his promoter with? Do you know?
I'll have a look for you now.
He's not with Hearn, is he?
I don't think so. I'm not 100% sure. I'll just check.
Yeah, because every time he's fighting, I'm trying to get home to watch his damn fight, and I always catch it like 2-3 rounds in. So I don't know why he's fighting on a Friday, but
no idea. It must be with Hearn. Yeah, it must be with Hearn because he's fighting on a Hearn bill. So I assume so.
Yeah. I think he is on Hearn. And I think Brian Rose is on Hearn too. I think he just signed with Hearn as well. Brian Rose a couple of short weeks ago.
Okay. Cool. Moving on to the next fight then. I'm going to talk just briefly about this guy. I'll talk about him anyway. Scott Cardle versus Maxie Hughes.
Okay, yeah. Those are two fighters that I got to be honest. I'm not 100% aware of those guys. So definitely, this is definitely where you're then. Definitely show me the ropes with these two guys because I really don't know much about.
Well, this is just a central area title fight, but it's a good fight. It's one that you can watch, and if you bought tickets to this one, you'll get your money's worth. You've got two non-punchers who are at the beginning of their career. However, Scotty Cardle was a very good amateur. Maxie is more of he's learned the hard way. He's come up the hard way. He's got a decent record of 8 wins, 0 losses, and 1 draw. Against Cardle's perfect 10-0 record. Basically, it's going to be let the best boxer win.
At what weight are they?
Light welterweight.
Oh, light welterweight. Okay, they're 140 pounders.
Yeah. So it's going to be a good fight. They're going to be two good technicians going at it domestically, and we're going to see where they both are at this point in their careers. The promoter thinks that Maxie's got a really good chance of doing an upset on Cardle here. I'm not so sure. Cardle's quite good. The only problem is, like I said, he can't really punch.
Okay. So this definitely going to the cards. Pretty much is what you're telling me.
Pretty much, yeah. I'm very surprised if he didn't go the cards. And then just to balance it out, we've got two big hitters. We've got the cruiserweights. We've got China Clark versus Matty Askin.
Okay.
You see, Matty Askin has said if he does not win this fight, he is going to retire. So he's got all the determination in the world going into this fight. China Clark has just come through a very tough fight with a guy called Wadi Camacho. Both China Clark and this other guy, Camacho, style themselves on David Haye. Literally, style themselves on David Haye. You could have thought it was David Haye in the ring. Except they don't fight like him. China Clark's got good skills. He can punch a bit. He stopped Camacho. It's a good pick and fight domestically in this cruiserweight division. But I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to say Matty Askin wins this, keeps his career alive, and moves on. Moving on to the 20th of April, Nathan Cleverly versus Robin Krasnicki. What do you think about that fight?
Obviously, I know quite a bit about Nathan Cleverly. I've seen a couple of his last previous fights. Robert is a guy that I've never really heard of. I think they've tried to make this fight in the past. That name's been brought up a lot, I think, in past couple of months.
Yeah.
But I mean, when it comes to that, I mean, is this Robert? Is he a big puncher, or I haven't really looked into him too much?
He's not a big puncher, but he's been stopping a lot of his opponents as of late. So maybe he's learning, to become a better finisher. Maybe he is a big puncher, but just cannot finish.
Do you think this is kind of a stay busy fight for Nathan Cleverly, or is he really kind of putting his title on the line? In your opinion,
it's a hard fight for Cleverly.
is it really?
Yeah. Well, basically, what we know about Cleverly is he likes a toe-to-toe battle. He's not a big puncher himself, but he does throw a lot of leather, and he wears guys down.
Yes,
he's
definitely.
definitely got the good stamina, and he throws the volume over the whole 12 rounds of the fight, which is good, and that's what you'll need in this fight. However, he can allow himself to be outboxed, and this is where Krasniqi can come in, because he's got good movement, he's got a good arsenal of shots himself, and he can counterpunch. I just watched him on a video, and he's actually a really good counterpuncher. So this is going to be a very good fight, and his power is getting better.
Okay.
So it could be a very close fight.
Now, with that at hand, and if Nathan Cleverly comes out with his hand raised, do you think Nathan is ready for the bigger fights if he gets through?
It depends which fights you mean.
I don't know if people are talking about, a Bailu fight who just fought last weekend, or, Nathan has talked about wanting to fight Bernard Hopkins.
Yeah.
In the past. And I think Bernard has expressed a little bit of interest in that. Now, if Cleverly comes out, with flying colors, do you think he should still defend against maybe domestic or mandatories, or is he ready for that leap into really the bigger world stage with, the bigger fighters out there, like say, I don't know, Jean Pascal, people of that, because there's been a lot of talk here in stateside. I can definitely speak on that behalf. People are very interested on Cleverly in a sense of, when is he going to fight somebody of bigger name stature? So I'm just wondering if he comes out with his hand raised at the end of the fight, I would definitely like to see him fight probably Bernard Hopkins. Do you think that's something that Cleverly is ready for, or?
Yes. Basically, I think unfortunately he'll have to face Krasniqi, and then he's going to have to face another opponent beforehand. I think it'll be, I can't remember the guy's name. The guy who vacated the title at Cleverly basically won it off. Basically, you'll have to face him. But
I think Cleverly to beat a guy like Hopkins, he'd have to mimic a Joe Calzaghe style.
Yeah, I think he could definitely do that.
I think he definitely has the style too. Very much trouble.
One of the issues with Bernard Hopkins is, if you throw a large amount of volume over the whole 12 rounds of the fight, it's going to be hard for you to give point. It's going to be a very tough decision. Did you watch the Bernard Hopkins versus Tavoris Cloud fight?
Absolutely.
I also did, and I had a good amount of money on Bernard Hopkins to win that fight by decision. So I was very happy at the end of the fight. The problem with Tavoris was he never threw enough leather.
No.
You know what I mean? He gave him too much respect. He fought the total wrong fight, and I saw that coming. The thing is, Cleverly, if he threw a lot of leather in that fight, then he would have a good chance of upsetting Bernard.
Yes. I feel like he would have to, again, mimic the Joe Calzaghe style fight to beat Bernard Hopkins, because if you're in there and you let Bernard Hopkins dictate the fight, where it's kind of how Tavoris Cloud did, you're in a little bit of trouble. I'm not sure he's knocking out Cleverly, but he's definitely, going to be up 4 or 5 rounds at the end of the fight. So I would definitely like to see Nathan Cleverly step up and fight the bigger names. I think he's definitely ready for those guys. I definitely think he has the ability to trouble some of those guys, but obviously he's got to get through Robert first. And like you said, it's a little bit of a dangerous fight, so I'll definitely keep my eye out on that fight.
Yeah. Moving on to the next fight, Derek Chisora versus this Ondrej Pala.
Yes.
Obviously, we don't know too much about this Pala guy, but what do you think about this fight and Derek Chisora in general?
Well, I mean, from the Hay debacle, he's definitely a crazy ass dude.
Yeah.
But I think he's good for the sport because I mean, the heavyweight division the past couple of years has been a little bit lackluster. There's a lot of good up and coming guys, maybe in a year or two, who would really kind of come into their own and definitely make some noise. But I'm a big fan of Chisora, man. Even though he's got a big mouth, he's always been there. He's always stepped up. He's never said no to a legit fight. Obviously, he totally got outclassed by Tyson Fury. And then obviously he should have won the Hellenius fight. I gave him the Hellenius fight.
Yeah.
He fought Vitali. He did well for himself. Yeah, he literally won the fight, but he definitely had him a little worried, and it showed that he was something more than just a domestic level fighter.
I agree.
And then obviously the debacle at the press conference and the Hay fight, the biggest fight in the UK in God knows how long. I mean, the tickets sold out faster than you can shake a stick at. So Chisora is a madman. We need somebody like him. Obviously, I think he's definitely going to win the fight. He's very experienced, even though he's lost probably 4 out of his last 5 fights. But he's definitely somebody that I can't help but root for him deep inside, even though he's a fucking madman. But he's definitely exciting for the sport.
If he fought a fight in the USA, would you go and watch him?
Oh, you see, that's the thing is nobody comes here to Florida. I'd have to go to Vegas, or I'd have to go to Jersey or Atlantic City, but I would like to. I mean, I think he's definitely worth paying $100, $150 for a decent level seat.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's definitely an exciting fighter. He's got a big mouth, and he's willing to step in that ring and actually try to back it up, and that's what a lot of heavyweights I feel need to do more. They need to go out there. You see, that's the thing with a lot of the heavyweights and a lot of undefeated fighters now. They are so into protecting that perfect record, and Chisora, yeah, he lost to Tyson. At that rate, he kind of said, well, what's the point of trying to protect a record that's already, done with, that undefeated record. So he's out there and taking chances. And I actually give Derek Chisora a lot of respect because he fought Hay, he fought Vitali, he fought Tyson, he fought Hellenius.
Yeah, and he deserves to win that fight too, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's worth more than gold than somebody out here trying to boast themselves up and say, hey, look at me, I'm undefeated, but yet you got a bunch of tomato cans for a resume. So my hat goes out to him a little bit more than the average, Alexander Demetrico or all these other guys, who just recently lost, but they got a lot of fights underneath them, and I don't know, it's like, who have you fought? Like, it's all about who you fought more than that undefeated record. So
True.
Yeah.
True. Yeah, so I think we'll leave that one there. I think we can agree that Derek's going to win that fight.
Yeah, absolutely.
The question will be, will Derek win by knockout or by points?
Well, given I don't know who this Paula guy is. I don't know if he's one of those guys who just hangs around for 12 rounds and just takes a beating and is trying to fight. He just can't get off. He can't get the motor running. I would expect Chisora to actually get a ref stoppage. But that's just me saying it. I mean, I don't know this guy.
I think I do agree. I mean, Derek is an aggressive, come forward fighter.
Yeah, absolutely.
Likes to take it to the inside and wear his opponents down. This guy, on the other hand, he's not a good contender. He's lost at domestic level before, and therefore I think I can see him getting stopped again. Moving on, we've got this fight is actually a really interesting fight, I think. It's not one that is going to catch the hearts of everyone in the stadium, but I like it. Liam Walsh versus Scott Harrison. This is a very intriguing fight. On the one hand, you've got 35-year-old Scott Harrison, former WBO featherweight champion, facing Liam Walsh for a paper European title. Not important, but this takes him in punching distance of a fight with Ricky Burns.
Ah.
That's interesting. Right? Now, Scott Harrison, he's fought for the WBO featherweight title 11 times. Got a record of 9 wins, 1 loss and 1 draw, you know, within that title. And didn't actually lose that title and got sent to jail for beating the absolute shit out of someone. I understand.
Oh, wow. Wow. So he was pretty much stripped because of his actions outside the ring. So he didn't lose.
No, didn't lose the title. Got stripped of the title. Now he's making his comeback at lightweight. And he's won his last 2 fights. So this guy, this is what I like about this fight. They're going to meet each other head on and fight it out in the ring. I like that. You know, the only limitations that I would say is the age of Harrison is going to be an issue, his stamina. And then on the other hand, I want to say Walsh is going to have a few problems also. You know, he can be hurt. But it's going to be a good fight.
Good.
Moving on from there, we've got Over McKenzie versus Enzo Maccarinelli. The rematch.
Okay. Let's see. I definitely know the 2 guys. Is it for the title? Is it for a European cruiserweight title, or?
I think it's for a Commonwealth light heavyweight title.
Oh, it's light. Oh, they're light heavyweights. I thought they were cruiserweights.
No, Enzo used to be, but he's moved down.
Oh, he's moved down. Wow. You know, I've heard the guys' names. I think I've seen Enzo's last fight. Was it that controversial fight? Which one was it to where it was controversial where the ref stopped it early or something like that?
Yeah,
what happened there?
Basically, Oval caught him in the corner. And Enzo's got a reputation for being chinny. So Oval's a big puncher. So Oval starts to unload, but he doesn't land anything.
Okay.
The referee then jumps in front and grabs hold of Enzo Maccarinelli and tries to stop the fight. And then Enzo just looks at him like, "What are you doing, you muppet?"
Oh man! So this ref was probably not as experienced, and he.
Oh no, he's experienced. This is the guy who allowed Vitali to pound away on Shannon Briggs for 12 rounds.
Oh wow! Are you serious?
That's that referee.
Oh yeah, Shannon took a massive. I think he went straight to the doctor after that to get like some head CAT scans. So this guy literally. Enzo threw a couple of flurries or had him against the corner, and this guy
Oval had him against the
yeah, Oval was just throwing nothing but air, not landing anything solid.
Nothing. Everything was partially blocked. Nothing. He was never wobbled in the fight. I
bet you the bookies were ridiculously angry. Anybody who put money on that fight were like, "Are you serious?" Like,
well, yeah, because Oval was the heavy favorite to knock him out early. Right, so loads of people put money on that, even I did. But I also straddled it with Enzo by a point. So I luckily won on terms of I got the second round knockout. But I would have liked the points decision, I got more money.
Yeah.
So I was like, I mean, they must have been going mad, yeah?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm sure people were, I mean, did anything happen that you know of to this ref? I mean, was he set aside and spoken to?
I do not know.
I mean, was it clear and concise over there in the UK that this guy completely ruined a fight?
Oh yeah, this was There was no way you could have what could I say? There was no way you could have defended it. You know, he wasn't hurt. Wow. If you're gonna stop a fight right before a punch has been landed, we might as well start calling them before they get in the ring.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was just a joke.
Wow.
But this rematch is going to be a pick and fight. You've got Oval, who's a big puncher, while Enzo's got that weak chin. Fireworks.
So it's not lasting. It's not going to last.
I don't know. It could do. And then you've got Enzo, who's a big puncher, at now 175. And he can still rearrange a guy's rib cage like no one else.
Yeah.
So, you know, Oval's got defensive flaws too. He got knocked clean out by Tony Bellew.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, it could be a pick and fight. Oval will be the favourite, but I'm going to bet Enzo points.
Yes.
That's what I'm going to go with.
Ah, cool.
Next fight, Tyson Fury versus Steve Cunningham.
The fight, this is a fight that's, I'm very much interested. I mean, Tyson's coming over here, across the big pond. He's going to try to appease to the Americans. He's fighting on I guess is it kind of like Channel 6 for you guys, where it's like
Channel 5, yeah, Channel 5.
Channel 5, like that. He's fighting on, I think, on NBC Sports. So any Dick, Tom, and Harry can go and, you know, watch the fight. It isn't like, you know, it's a subscription, you know, like Box Nation or HBO or Showtime. So, again, you know, Tomas Adamek and Cunningham actually did very well in the ratings when they fought. So now with Cunningham fighting Tyson, maybe it can kind of get some spark going in, not only with the heavyweight division, but with Tyson Fury, because Tyson Fury is obviously, you know, not only is he, you know, he's not a prospect anymore. He's definitely a contender.
Yeah.
In my opinion, he's no longer that prospect in my eyes. And obviously, you know, Cunningham has a very decorated, you know, record, and you know, in the cruiserweight division. I mean, the guy fought just about everybody in the cruiserweight division. He's had a title for many years. Lost it to Jon Pablo Hernandez a year and a half ago or something like that. And he moved up to a heavyweight. Tyson's gonna look massive. What is Tyson? 6'8"?
6'9".
6'9", and Cunningham's what, 6'2", 6'3", maybe?
6'2", I think.
Oh man, this is gonna be.
It's gonna be like a giant.
It's gonna look like Margarito and Pacquiao, where it's like 5'11" to like a 5'6" dude, and it's just it's gonna look big. But Cunningham, he's very seasoned veteran. He hasn't really tested the waters at heavyweight. I mean, you can fight at cruiserweight, you know, for years and years. Look what happened with Marco Huck and Alexander Povetkin. I mean, Huck moved up to the heavyweight division, and while Huck is a very big puncher in the cruiserweight division, when he moved up to the big boys, it was a little bit more tougher than he expected. And this was Alexander Povetkin that was definitely out of shape and definitely definitely didn't have any stamina, and it went 12 rounds. And obviously, Cunningham is probably going to be in
I just want to stop you there, though. I mean, 10 more seconds in that Huck fight, and, you know, Povetkin would have been dead.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. That fight was very much back and forth, but Povetkin was just gassing the whole time. Like he was gassing in that fight. But, I mean, Huck couldn't get him out of there.
Oh,
I mean, the 12th round, I mean, Huck had him against the corners, and he was just unloading on him, and Huck was tired, too. I mean, they were just leaning on each other out of exhaustion.
Yeah, that final punch, though. Did you see that final punch?
Mm-hmm.
That final punch that almost took off Povetkin's head. Oh, my days, that was amazing.
Povetkin, you know, he's kind of the next in line for Vladimir.
I don't think he wants it.
Probably not, but you know, Tyson Fury being so big, you know, 6'9", you say, and Cunningham maybe 6'2" or 6'3", roughly. Again, you know, Jack and the Giant. How is Cunningham going to? How is he going to deal with a 6'8", 6'9" Tyson Fury punching?
I don't know.
On him. So that's going to be very interesting.
Do you see Cunningham winning that fight?
I don't think so.
Can you see him winning that fight in any time? What chance do you give him?
He's not going to outbox Tyson Fury.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the height. He doesn't have the weight. Even though Tyson is looking amazing at heavyweight, he's not that chubby midsection fat heavyweight anymore.
Yeah.
He's trimmed down. He looks amazing at that weight. He just I just think that Tyson's going to control that fight with the jab, and he's definitely going to pot shot him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Steve's going to have that much of a chance. I think he'll get.
Give me a percentage. What percentage chance do you think Steve's got?
I think it's going to be 75-25.
Ooh, 25. That's a lot.
75 to Cunningham's 25%. In my opinion, I mean Cunningham has been around for a while. I don't think he's past his prime. I don't think he's a shot fighter. But just given the circumstances, Tyson's too big. He's got length. He's just. I just think Fury's just going to. I won't say he's gonna toy with him, but he's gonna make. It's gonna look pretty easy for him.
Yeah. With me, it's a bit different. I don't give US's Cunningham more than 10% chance of winning this fight. I'm sorry, I'm not even a huge Fury fan, I mean, I just don't see him winning this fight. He's got to contend with height, reach.
I'm more of a Price than a Fury fan, but I still feel even Tyson's going to take it to Cunningham.
Oh yeah. Steve does have good boxing ability, and he's got the speed and speed of hand and foot. But can he get past that height and reach?
On top of that, Cunningham has a very fragile chin because against Adamic, their first fight, he was knocked down like 5 times. Mm-hmm. And even in the first Hernandez fight, he was knocked down like once or twice, I think in the 4th round or something like that.
I think he was lucky to get out that round, too, wasn't he?
Was he knocked down in the second fight too as well?
No, I think he was lucky to get out of, in the first fight when he got knocked down, I think he was lucky to survive.
Yeah. So Cunningham has a little bit of a chin problem against cruiserweights.
So now imagine if you like against
now imagine a 6'9". What is Tyson running around at? 245 maybe?
Yeah, 245 exactly. I think
245, 6'9" guy beating you. It's not going to look very pretty in Cunningham's favor. I mean, to Tyson, he's going to be. I'm saying it's going to be an easy fight, but I think he's definitely going to cruise throughout the fight. It's not going to be as difficult a fight for him as opposed to Cunningham.
What method of victory do you see this going?
I can see a late ref stoppage for the fight. I think Cunningham will probably last a little bit, probably for his own, not for his benefit. I think Cunningham will probably go out maybe in the 8th or 9th round. I think in the end, I think the refs probably. I can definitely see Tyson knocking him down once or twice before the fight's stopped by the ref. Mm-hmm. That's just how I see it.
Do you think a points decision would look bad for Fury?
No, not necessarily, because I mean, if Cunningham is giving Tyson Fury a run for his money, then a points decision does look bad. But if Fury definitely shuts him down for 12 rounds and makes it look, he doesn't really break a sweat. Yeah, he's gonna be sweating, but doesn't really break a sweat in the fight. I think then we'll see he's ready for bigger and better things. But
the only thing I would say is Fury should be knocking a former cruiserweight out, a chinny cruiserweight out, 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, absolutely.
So a points decision to me wouldn't be good enough. That's the only thing I would say, but. You're allowed to disagree with me. It doesn't matter. I'm not.
Oh no, it's all based on it. Until the fight happens, my opinion, your opinion are just random words, thrown in the air that evaporate, and then when the fight comes into fruition, then that's a totally different subject. But I can definitely see Tyson knocking him down once or twice before the ref stops it, probably in the 8th or 9th round, after a bunch of punches landed on Cunningham. So.
Okie doke. Well, we've got the super fight next. Austin Trout versus Saul Alvarez. What do you think about that?
Oh man, I think Canelo is I think he's got his big boy pants on. Golden Boy finally let him play outside with the big boys because you know, Canelo very technical. You know, people call him a little boxing prodigy. You know, he's 21, 22 years old. He's got 40-something fights under his belt. He's got a title that he's defended 4 or 5 times against opposition you may or may not like. But he's definitely ready. I mean, he's caught out, Mayweather. He's caught out Cotto. He's caught out a couple of fighters. And for some reason, Golden Boy are just they're handling him with tweezers.
They do that with a lot of fighters nowadays, don't they?
What's that?
They do that with a lot of guys nowadays.
What's that?
Can you hear me? They do that with a lot of their fighters nowadays.
Who, Golden Boy?
Yeah.
I just think not necessarily. But I think with Canelo, I think they feel with Alvarez that he's kind of the next big thing for them, and they just want to make sure they protect their interest, their Golden Boy, the next Golden Boy. They want to make sure that when he's ready, he's ready. They don't want to rush him. Mm-hmm. So for some reason, Golden Boy was just not very adamant about making this fight happen. I mean, Trout literally was campaigning for the fight. Alvarez and Cotto were supposed to meet up, but Trout obviously, he disrupted that. And Trout's a little bit tricky, man. He definitely showed Cotto. He just has a style that's kind of wrong for somebody like Alvarez. But we'll see how Alvarez comes out. He's very talented for a young kid. Would he be as big as he is if he wasn't a red-headed guy that looked Irish? Probably not. But
what's that supposed to mean?
Well, he doesn't look like a typical Mexican, so he's a little bit different. He looks like a red-headed Irish guy. So Trout has even said that, there's nothing special about Canelo. He's just a Mexican guy that looks like he's Irish, and that's just that's Trout trying to kind of pick at Golden Boy and Canelo into taking the fight. So that's just his little jab at Canelo. But it's definitely a 50-50 fight. I would say maybe 55-45 in favor of Trout. In my opinion, I just think Trout he's all wrong for him, man. He's all wrong for the cat, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But we'll see, man. It's a fight that a lot of people want to see if Canelo's ready. What do you think about the fight? Have you seen a lot of these two guys?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen 2 or 3 fights of Austin Trout.
Mm-hmm.
He's a very defensive fighter and a very slick fighter.
Yeah.
Good on the front foot, good on the back foot. Nice hand speed. Foot speed's okay too. The only thing is, I favour Canelo.
Yeah.
Canelo, big guy, decent boxer, good power.
Great body attack.
Yeah.
Great body attack. He needs to use that against Trout. Yeah. He needs to use that against Trout.
And he also likes his left hand hook too.
Yeah, definitely.
Which Trout was having issues with when Cotto was throwing it.
Yes.
In the early rounds, until then he gassed himself out.
Yes.
So, I'm going to go out on a limb and say Canelo will win this fight by decision.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason is I think he's actually going to up his game, because I think he's been coasting through his opponents recently, because his opponents have been weak. Yes. So he's just been coasting through. But I think he can up his game.
Okay.
But so we'll see. We'll go on to the next fight.
Okay.
Sergio Martinez versus Martin Murray.
Yeah, that's definitely going to. If Murray can pull off the upset, it's definitely going to change the middleweight landscape. I think the middleweight landscape is probably one of the more talented divisions out there. It's probably one of my personal favorite divisions because there's a lot of history behind that middleweight. But I think Murray's going to give Martinez some trouble. He's definitely going to give him some trouble because Martin Murray in his last fight, I think he stopped that guy in what, 5 or 6 rounds?
Yeah, just about five, I
Something
think.
like that. It was on the what undercard was it? Was it the Barker and
No, it was
was
Hatton
it that?
Senchenko.
Oh, okay, it was on that undercard. He
Shed
was
a tear after that one too.
huh?
Shed a tear after that one too.
Oh, oh yeah, that was definitely. I just remember checking Twitter and just people were just like they couldn't believe it. It was just like probably how the Filipinos felt when Pacquiao got knocked out by Marquez. It was just one of those kind of things. But yeah, that I think Martin Murray has a good chance of definitely you know troubling Martinez. Now Martinez, he at his age, 38, 39, he's in spectacular shape. Against Chavez, he was moving a lot. He was pot shotting. He was using the jab, 2 or 3 hit combos, moving in and out. How is Murray going to respond to that? Murray's sort of a flat-footed sort of kind of fighter a little bit because
Yeah, he can be a bit flat-footed at times.
yeah, because even in the Sturm fight, him and Sturm were pretty much forehead to forehead, and I felt he definitely won that fight. But I think he's a little bit better. He's gotten better in his. He's actually progressed in my opinion, Martin Murray.
Yeah.
When the fight was scheduled and actually was set up to contracts were signed, I was like, wow, this is actually going to be a pretty interesting matchup. Sergio's just movement is just going to bother him. Yeah, it's just going to bother him a lot. But I think if it came down to if Murray can trap him in a corner or get him against the ropes, he can land a couple of shots, maybe disrupt Martinez a little bit. But again, Martinez is the lineal middleweight champion, so he's the guy at the top. But I think Murray's got a good chance, man. I'm not saying he's gonna destroy Martinez or knock him out. He could not. I think he definitely has a very strong chance. He's gonna more than show up for a payday. He's actually gonna try in there and try to get Martinez out of there.
Yeah, here's another question. Martinez just come back off a leg injury.
Yeah.
How do you think that will affect him?
You know what? What's weird is not many people have talked about that. Martinez's camp haven't expressed how Martinez feels. Obviously, they're not going to say Sergio Martinez isn't 100% because that's pretty much career suicide to say, hey, I'm 100% ready to fucking fight. We'll have to see. I mean, what did he? Was it the ACL or what was it that he tore?
I don't know. It was one of the ligaments, wasn't it, near the
hamstring or something? Or I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think he'll be able to move around on his hamstring if he tore that in the last round. Whatever it was, he'd done something to. I think it was a ligament.
Was it a ligament?
I think so because he needed surgery, didn't he?
Yeah. I think he tore out one of them, and I think a couple of days afterwards he had to go get that surgery done. But yeah, that's a great angle. I didn't think of that. I actually forgot about it until you brought it up.
I mean, if he's not moving too much anymore.
Well, he didn't move at that 12th round because he tore his shit. He tore his shit. But I don't know that you know what? That's a great angle. I didn't think of that. We'll just have to wait and see. I mean, who do you think who's got more power? Who do you think?
Oh, Martinez has got the more power.
I think Murray's got some power behind his punches too.
Yeah. He's a strong guy too. He's got strength.
He's durable, is what he is. He's very durable. He's a very durable fighter. But man, would Martinez, if he can't move like he is accustomed to, is he willing to go in there with the trenches and fight Murray?
I don't know.
Head to head, because Martinez, he's a graceful fighter. He's athletic as hell. He's not stupid. He's intelligent. He moves. He's a boxer. He's a pure boxer with a little sting on the end of his punches. Martinez, he'll wear you down, as he did, Macklin and Barker late. but I don't know, man. That's a good angle. That's a good angle.
It's interesting, isn't it?
Man, that's definitely going to affect. Because what happens if he's moving around and something goes wrong in his legs? You know.
Well, imagine if it happens in round 2.
Well, who knows? He's gonna have to fight flat-footed and not move often. I think that's definitely what Murray wants.
Yeah.
He definitely wants to fight forehead to forehead probably. Very interesting. I didn't think of that.
It's a good thing. So at the end of the day, who do you think will win that fight?
I think Martinez will definitely take the win. I think he's gonna take a couple of shots. That's gonna bother him throughout the fight. But I think Martinez in the end is definitely gonna win the fight. Decision.
So yeah, I'm gonna say Sergio Martinez will win this by knockout. But
yeah.
That's just saying if he's 100%.
What do you have a prediction? I mean, late,
not
middle round.
Yeah, no. I'd assume it'd be late.
Late.
Yeah, late.
Oh, okay.
But Martin Murray's a good guy. He's going right into the Lions Den. He's going to Argentina to fight. Fight him. So if it goes the cards, I don't think he's going to get it, even if he deserves it.
Yeah. Oh, it's already happened with him once with Sturm. I felt he won. At least he was ahead in three rounds, and obviously, Sturm's a big name over there in Germany, and he kind of, you just don't mess around. It's just the hometown favoritism, So
yeah.
Can you imagine if Murray actually knocked out Sergio or won by decision? Do you think there'd be a fucking riot, or do you think
I don't think Murray would get out alive.
Murray would have to just get out of there because South Americans are so passionate about soccer that if something happens, they're fucking rioting.
Yeah, but I was thinking they don't like guys from the UK, do they?
They're just passionate about their sports, and apparently the Sergio and Martin Murray fight is selling very well. I think they're fighting in a soccer stadium.
Oh yeah?
And I believe so. I think they're fighting in a soccer stadium, and
so it'll be a big one as well, like 40,000.
Probably, and I think even the president of Argentina is going to be there. So
I've seen her before. Yeah.
Can you just imagine if Murray just flat out laced him out in like 2 or 3 rounds? Like, he better get out of there fast, boy, because
there'll be like a sniper on the roof with.
Oh my God! They better like get a helicopter and put a rope down, and he better get out of there James Bond style as quick, ASAP, and don't even get the belt. Just get the hell out of there, man. Probably.
They'll send it to you in the post.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Yeah, we're gonna move on to Amir Khan versus Julio Diaz.
Okay.
Any thoughts on that fight?
Well, obviously, Amir Khan is definitely in the limelight in the boxing world. A lot of people like him. A lot of people like to hate him.
Yeah.
I personally, I like Amir. He's entertaining to watch. He's like Victor Ortiz. There's always something going on in his fights. There's always some kind of drama. There's always something that people talk about after his fight for weeks on end. So, Julio Diaz?
Julio Diaz, yeah.
I think he fought some guy named Sean Porter.
Yeah.
I looked him up real quick. It's so easy to pick on Amir, and it's so easy to root for Amir, kind of. Amir should win. Amir is, he's fought a lot of guys. I think, people just talk about his chin, just constantly. So every time he fights, I'm always like, cracking my knuckles because I'm like, dude, just fight smart. Don't do anything stupid. Because in his last fight against, what's that guy in December?
Molina.
Was it Carlos Molina? That's right, Carlos Molina.
Yeah.
He was getting a couple of shots, but Molina didn't have the power to get him out of there. So, he's with Virgil Hunter now. Maybe he'll take Virgil Hunter's advice and learn to fight from the outside, because Amir Khan has a lot of speed. He's very fast. He's good on the outside. He just cannot be drugged into these wars. And that's his macho-ness coming out, because against the Garcia fight, when he was hurt in that fourth round or something like that, third or fourth round, he went in there and he fought a dumb fight after he should have boxed when he was hurt.
Yeah.
And again, Garcia was pressuring him. I mean, when somebody's trying to knock your head off, there's only so much you can do.
I think the writing was on the wall straight away after the knockdown by Garcia. I think the idea is he was pretty much disabled from the neck down after he got hit there.
Yeah.
So the fact that he survived almost 2 rounds, was it almost 2 rounds?
I think, was it the third?
He survived that
2 rounds. He survived 2 rounds like that because he got hit in the neck. It wasn't a clean chin punch. It was like a neck, like somewhere like where a chick kisses you to make a hickey or some shit, like right there. Got hit there, and he fell down, and I think he got knocked down. I think he survived, and then he got knocked down 2 more times in the next round. I think I'm not 100%.
So he survived at least 3 minutes then.
Yeah.
He survived at least 3 minutes while Garcia was coming at him. So is his chin that bad?
Is his chin that bad? I mean, he got knocked around by Maidana. I mean, yeah, he knocked down Maidana from that body blow in the first round. But he does have a little bit of chin problems. But I think he just needs to be smart. He can't be drugged into these slugfests. Now, am I rooting for Amir Khan? Absolutely. I like the guy. I think he's exciting. I think he's somebody that, again, people just love to hate him.
Yeah.
And they want to see his downfall. To be honest, I would like to see a lot of success come his way. I was dying for him and Bradley to fight, but for some reason, Bradley just did not want to fight him.
He had no intention.
What happened? It was a clear duck. I like Bradley. I actually thought Bradley would win that fight, but you can't win a fight when you're not signed the damn contract. So,
yeah,
that happened. So I just think this fight I don't even know this guy very well. I mean, is it a tune-up fight? Is it a stay busy fight for Garcia?
I think it's a good learning fight for him. I think it's a good fight for his comeback, his confidence.
Yeah.
Because that must have took a pasting in his last 2 fights.
Yeah. And even in the Lamont fight, I think that took a lot out of him in a sense of probably his mental stability, because, even with the Lamont thing with him testing positive and, just the whole debacle with that.
Basically, the only thing that Lamont didn't take from him that night was his wallet.
Yeah, pretty much. But just probably he just needs to be smart. He's very talented as a boxer.
Problem is he wears his heart on his sleeve.
Yeah, he's very good at these 3, 4, 5 punch hit combos, and he needs to work on that. He needs to move a lot, and he just needs to just be smart, man. He just needs to be smart in the ring.
If he fights Garcia again, I would like to see him not use the 4 or 5 punch combinations, but just land 1s and 2s.
Yeah, like maybe do a body shot and maybe a overhand right or something like that. Just kill him at A or something.
Because once he was on the outside and coming in with his first 2 shots, Garcia had no idea what he was doing.
The first 2 rounds, Garcia looked lost. He just threw that hook that landed on Khan's neck, and it was a game changer. But the first 2 rounds was a clear shutout by Khan. He was making him look slow like fucking molasses, dude. I was like, man, he's killing this guy in the ring.
And then he killed him off.
Yeah, and then he pretty much
stole the show.
Yeah, he pretty much took the light out, like you kill a cigarette, it just went that was it.
Yeah.
So.
On the undercard, we've got Haroon Khan who is the younger brother of Amir.
Is this his pro debut or?
Yeah, this is the pro debut. Now, if you don't know much about him, not many people do.
Yeah, I don't.
More of a pressure fighter than his brother.
Hmm?
Slower of foot. More suited to the professional game, actually.
Okay.
But he's fighting at super featherweight.
Ah, okay. The 130-pound.
So I don't know how far he'll go, but it'll be good to see him fight. Good to see what he does.
Usually fights like that, they're blowout fights. They're like a round or two and a quick knockdown and the fight's over. I mean, I think most fighters who are getting in the game, their first 8 to 10 fights are just, one rounders because they're just going there swinging until somebody gets knocked out and the fight's over pretty much.
And laying almost nothing.
Yeah.
Other than that, we got Anthony Ogogo as well on his debut.
Yeah. He won the Olympic gold. Well, no, I'm sure he won Olympic gold, but he did win Olympic medal.
Yeah, I think it was a bronze.
Was it a bronze?
I think so.
Yeah, I just know that just when all that happened and he was going into the pros, Golden Boy Promotions was very much heavily trying to get him on board, and I think they did. So his pro fight is there in the UK, right?
Yeah, it'll be in Sheffield on the card of Amir Khan.
Oh, okay. Yeah, definitely. Is he? Have you seen him?
He's a middleweight fighter now. He's a good boxer. I'm not too sold on his power, but I don't wanna say anything about him too much. He's got charisma. I want to see if he's got the power. He should have the speed. He's got the boxing ability.
Is he kind of like I mean, I'm probably gonna talk out of my ass. Is he like a Chris Eubank Jr. or something like that, or?
No.
No. Yeah.
You're best just waiting and seeing, just watching his debut, because he's a good boxer. Good boxer.
Okay, yeah, I'll definitely check him out. Again, I think Showtime's going to only show the Amir Khan and Diaz fights. I think the replay or something like that, and then kick into the Garcia and Judah fight. So what I'm pretty much going to do is I'm pretty much going to find a stream like I always do for the UK-based fights or the European fights, and definitely check them out.
That's what I've been doing too, yeah.
Yeah.
Next we got Deontay Wilder versus Audley Harrison.
Oh, Audley Harrison. He just had that big old prize fighter run, huh?
I know. You know something? Every time you count Audley out, he comes back and does something different.
He wins your heart over, and then he crushes it, and then he brings it back, right? That's what I hear on Twitter all day.
Oh, my days. Something about Audley is he's got all the potential in the world.
Yeah.
He's just never fulfilled it.
Yeah, against Price, it was, one round?
And I went to that fight, I wasn't too happy about that. So, I paid 60 quid for the ticket, yeah. It was an alright ticket as well. Good view. One round knockout's not what I want to see.
Yeah.
So,
Kim, what do you think about Deontay Wilder? He does have a lot of power against people who aren't really supposed to last, in there. Do you think he's all hype? Do you think in a year or two he's ready for the bigger guys? Because he's Golden Boy Promotions. They're trying to build this guy up as, Seth Mitchell, Bryant Jennings, Chris Arreola. These are the American heavyweight contenders, to contend for, the title. And Deontay Wilder, Golden Boy is really pushing this guy. And apparently, Audley is kind of his first test.
Definitely.
Which could either be a good thing or it can be a bad thing. So it really kind of...
Well, basically, when I look at Wilder, I see pros and I see cons, right? Good thing is he's got a cannon of a right hand.
Yes, definitely.
Bad thing is, why are they putting him against all these lower level opponents?
Yeah.
I mean, the way I look at it, if you have to protect someone so much that you're putting him against fat middleweights,
yeah,
then you've got to be protecting something negative.
Yeah.
There's no other way of explaining it, but there's got to be a big fundamental flaw to Wilder.
Well, given that what you just said, David Price and Hellenius and Tyson have a much better record than he does by far than this Deontay Wilder guy.
Yeah. The thing is, though, Wilder's yet to face a good opponent.
Mm-hmm.
Is Audley a good opponent?
Is he? I don't know. Like, I would like to see Deontay fight something a little bit higher because the dude's got, what, 24 fights with 24 KOs or something like that. So they're bringing him up as this big, mean puncher against competition that, isn't something to brag about.
Of course. Well, when a fat middleweight gets to the ring wearing a knee brace, you don't want people to know about that.
Yeah.
That was
does Audley, is he going to test him? Does he have a chance? Do you think Audley's going to? What do you think is going to happen?
He's got a good chance.
Okay.
I actually think he's got a good chance. If it's the same Audley that fought prize fighter, then I think it's a very good chance of an upset.
Okay.
I'll tell you what. Audley, when he's at this lower weight of under 17 stone, he just is a different guy. Against Price, you got caught cold. Understands, right? It could have been a different fight if it went a few more rounds. I can't say it wouldn't, can't say it would. But I still think Audley's got a shot. I mean, Wilder got dropped, didn't he, by some bum?
Okay.
So Audley, therefore, has a good chance of landing the left hand and knocking him out.
Mm-hmm.
So, and also he got outboxed a bit by that Kelvin Price in the first 2 rounds, and then he got knocked out.
Yeah.
So, once again, I think Audley's got a slight chance, but I'll look at it 75% to Deontay Wilder.
Now, do you think when Wilder gets that right hand in, is Audley out for the count, or is he gonna get up, or?
Yeah, I think it'll be out for the count. I think the way I'm going to look at this, I'm going to say Wilder's going to knock him out, but I'm going to put £5 on Audley to knock him out.
Just to be on the safe side on the back end.
You see, I want Audley to win, to knock him out, because, he's a bit of a hype job. You can't deny that.
Yeah.
And I'd love to see a hype job come up,
There's no mistaking that Deontay. I'm not going to talk shit to him in front of his face because he'll destroy me. But everybody knows that he's a big puncher against who? He's got such a high KO record against who, though?
Exactly. Some guys face the who's who of boxing. He's fighting the who's he of boxing.
Yeah. If some random person was watching Deontay Wilder and they said, "Oh shit, this guy's 24-0 with 24 KOs. This guy must be a beast." When realistically, the guys who watch boxing, like me and you and every other person that follows it, whether it be domestic, European, or American, they know, like, well, yeah, he's got a high KO rate, but who the hell has he fought to garner that kind of hype? Now if this guy was knocking out guys like Hellenius and Demetrico and Pulev and legitimate fighters, then you'd be like, well, shit, man, this guy's the real deal.
Yeah, I'd say that's the second coming of Tyson if he'd done them all over.
Yeah. Even if he knocked down, even if he beat 2 guys, maybe if he beat Pulev and he beat, I don't know, just 1 or 2 decent guys, then it'd be a little bit more legit, But until then, he doesn't have that legitimate tag to him. It's an asterisk. 24 KOs with an asterisk beside it.
Mm-hmm. So how do you see this fight going?
I think Wilder's going to get him out of there in about 4 rounds. Yeah, I think Wilder's he's just going to. Now, Wilder, he really does wait for that big right. There's no mistake in it. He's waiting for that big right. He's not some guy who's going to jab you a lot, who's going to try to wear you down. He's just creeping up on you, tippy toe at a time, walking towards you, and he's trying to throw that right.
Thing is, though, if he misses that right hand, he can walk straight onto one of Audley's shots.
Yeah, if I was Audley, I'd be like, I gotta watch tape and be careful of that right, and maybe move to your left.
Mm-hmm.
Move away from that right.
Do you think he's got any other game other than the right hand?
Probably not. Probably not. Because the two fights that I've seen of him, 2 or 3 fights on these little Spanish channels, that you got to see at midnight on this obscure channel, he's just destroying these 5'11" dudes, and it's like, well, yeah, you're
with
destroying.
knee braces on.
Yeah, exactly, and it's like, well, yeah, he's got that right. I mean, there was one fight that I saw of him. I think it was like 2 or 3 rounds, and I think it was maybe 2 rounds, and he didn't hardly throw anything until he threw that right and got that guy out of there.
Yeah. That was the Kelvin Price one. Just out of interest, if Deontay fought Pulev tomorrow, who would you pick?
I'd have to say Pulev, man. I like that guy a lot, man.
Me too.
Pulev. I like that guy. He's got this little weird style how he holds his setup, but he's pretty technical, man. I like that guy, man. I think he was supposed to. I think he's actually got the mandatory for Klitschko, wasn't he? For Vladimir.
Well, he was supposed to fight Adamek, but Adamek bitched out.
Yeah, that was. Adamek was saying, I don't want this fight because I got a bigger fight in Poland where I can make more money.
Yeah.
And nothing came out of that. Like, I was like, well, who's this guy he's fighting? And nothing came out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely nothing. I think Kubrat is a little bit underrated.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I think he's a bit underrated. He's a fighter that, he's just technical, man. He's just technical. I don't know. He may not be the guy that's out there throwing bombs, but he's definitely a boxer's like, damn, this guy can box pretty good. Like he's something a little bit special. I think he would show well against the top contenders, and I think he'd hold himself very well against those top contenders. I think he'd bother anybody at heavyweight right now. Mm-hmm. In my opinion, I like the guy. I'm actually pulling for him. I hope he does get a Vladimir fight soon.
I think he's got a fight. He's the IBF are looking for him to fight Tyson Fury next.
Yeah.
So
now, if
that
fight were to materialize, I think I'd be probably backing up Pulev for some weird reason, man. I mean, I wouldn't be rooting for one over the other, but I think if somebody came at me with a gun in my head and it's like, bitch, you need a pick, I'd probably pick Kubrat for some weird reason. I like his style. He's a little, he's got a little weird little sense to his setup. So.
Okay. Moving on to the next fight, another heavyweight fight. Chris Arreola versus Bermain Stavern.
Isn't this for Vitali's WBC title eliminator?
Yeah.
Something like that, something along those lines.
What do you think about that fight?
I think it really is a toss-up fight.
I agree.
It's a toss-up fight. Chris was kind of America's, answer to a Klitschko, and when he fought Vitaly, he was badly outmatched. I mean, Vitaly I think they stopped in the 10th round, and Chris was in tears, like, man, I just lost the biggest fight of my life, dude. I built myself up for this, and he just couldn't get it done. Bermain, I've seen. Who was that guy he knocked out in the second round? That it was just like this ridiculous right or something like that. It's a big.
I can't remember his name.
God. Yeah, Bermain's he's a little bit heavy. I think he's a toss-up fight. I'm really looking forward to it. I kind of feel like Bermain may take it to decision.
Really? I think it'll be a knockout.
You think it'll be a knockout?
I think Steven's going to win this by knockout.
Oh, okay.
And I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because Arreola is a good pressure fighter.
Yes.
But he has awful conditioning.
Mm-hmm. He looks like, have you seen pictures of him of recent? He looks horribly heavy.
I thought that as well. I was looking at him and I was thinking, he doesn't look like he's been training.
No.
You know, I mean, they've been putting it off and off and off. And he's the guy who said, he said on camera, I think, or in an interview, you know, I can't, you know, train and then not have a few Coronas afterwards.
Oh, that's Riddick Bowe all over again, because Bowe was the same way. He had the lineal championship titles, and he can never stop eating fucking Twinkies, is what everybody would say. And it's like, dude, like, take yourself serious. And that's probably how Arreola is. You know, he's serious. He's serious, but he's kind of lean. He's kind of chill. He's kind of lean back.
Yeah, he's just got no dedication to his dieting.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, do you know he used to be a what was he? A super middleweight when he was an amateur.
Mm-hmm.
Super middleweight Arreola.
Arreola. That I'm not sure.
No, he was. He was.
Was he? Oh, okay, I thought you were asking me the question.
No, he was. I promise you.
Wow, that's a big jump.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's a big jump.
I mean, if he lost all of his fat, he could probably make cruiserweight.
But you see, I think Arreola is a real heavyweight by nature. He just needs to work on it. Unlike Dominic and Cunningham, who are probably cruiserweights. In the truest essence, they're probably more cruiserweights. You know, you can't eat your way to a heavyweight. You know, you got to kind of have that body frame for it. I think Arreola is that kind of fighter. He just has to kind of work on it a little bit. I mean, that's kind of how Tyson was, where he was real heavy for a while, but then as the year and a half passed, he learned to slim down and just be a decent weight size heavyweight instead of just eating your way to heavyweight, just to gain weight so you can kind of have some weight on you, come fight night. You don't want to look like a flabby ass in the middle, it just doesn't look, very professional.
True. The thing is, Arreola, I saw him in his last fight against Eric Molina, and I saw him get hit in the round one.
Yeah.
And I wasn't very happy about that, because if that was Steven, it would have been lights out.
Yeah.
So he's got a lethal defense. So that chin, I'm not sure about it anymore, because the beatings it took from Vitali, and maybe the weight fluctuating up and down, it's not going to help him.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking Steven knocks him out.
Well, I think Arreola in the past has had a lot of head movement, but he still gets caught kind of a little bit.
Yeah.
He still gets caught. He's got to work on that. He definitely has to work on that.
Who do you want to win this fight?
I think Bermain's going to win the fight. I'm not really pulling for anybody in particular. I just want to see somebody get knocked the hell out. Like, I think it's probably going to go the distance a little bit. It probably will go to a decision, in my opinion. But I think Bermain's definitely going to come out the winner in that fight.
Okay. Next fight, Peter Quillin versus Fernando Guerrero.
Fernando Guerrero, man, I remember watching that guy 2 years ago on these little Spanish channels. I think he's a true middleweight, but he went down to 154 and he got knocked out. I think that's where he got his first loss, I believe.
Yeah.
And then he moved back up to middleweight to fight Peter Quillin. Peter Quillin, again, another fighter who got his markup on those little Spanish channels, on the weekend. And obviously he got that title from beating, was it Winky Wright for the title?
No, in JCAM.
Oh, that's right. The Dom.
Yeah.
Dom.
In Dom and JCAM.
God. The Dom, that dude had a lot of heart in that fight, because
he's a good fighter.
Oh my God, Quillin was just landing these hooks, man. Was it the left hook that he was landing on him that was just flooring him, man? I think he got knocked him out like 4 or 5 times in the fight.
Yeah, it was double knockdowns in 2 rounds, wasn't it?
Oh my God! And the dog just kept coming, and I think he actually won the crowd over a little bit more than Peter Quillen.
Yeah, I saw a lot of Americans who were pro Quillen beforehand saying, you know, Quillen was lucky if he didn't get the knockdowns. You know,
Yeah.
he would have lost the fight.
Oh yeah, definitely. But yeah, Quillen is a fighter that, like I said, I've seen a couple of times in the smaller Spanish channels. He's got that wicked left, that hook. I think he's a decent, he's a good fighter. I'm not saying he's a championship, top contender, upper echelon in the middleweight division. I think he's somewhere in the middle.
So where do you rate him against the other champions?
Well, I think he'd lose to Sergio. Gil and him would be a good fight. I think Gil would be too smart for him. Gil moves a lot. He's very intelligent. I like Gil a lot. I like Daniel Gil a lot.
Yeah.
Does Sturm even have a belt anymore? Or did he
No.
No, he did. Yeah, because I think he. Yeah, no, Sturm doesn't have a. I guess Sturm doesn't have a belt. Golovkin is probably the second best middleweight out there. Does Dmitry Pirog have a belt still?
No, but he's like he'll be the mandatory should he come back.
I think he's having back issues.
Yeah.
I think Quillen. I think he's probably of the 4 champions. I think he's probably at the very back, to be honest.
Yeah, I was gonna say rate my number 4 myself.
Yeah, I think Sergio, Golovkin, Gil, and then Quillen. I think he's a good fighter. I think he'll grow into something, but against the top guys, I think Golovkin would just run through him.
Yeah.
Gil and him would be a good fight. I think Gil would definitely win the fight.
A little too precision.
Yeah, Gil's real crafty. He's smart, man. When he fought Sturm and even Solomon, he was just smart in the ring, man. I think he's a little bit underrated, Daniel Gil.
Yeah.
I think even maybe Macklin might give Quillen a hell of a run for his money. Definitely.
What about Barker?
Barker, he's looked good his last 2 fights against Simone Rotolo and what was the other guy he fought?
Hope.
Yeah, he looked amazing against Kerry Hope. And I like Hope. Him and Proxa? They had a hell of a fight. Barker, I think, you see, that's a toss-up fight between Quillen and Barker. I think Barker is more intelligent in the ring. I think he would probably outsmart him in a fight, but he probably has to stay away from them hooks.
Yeah.
I think Macklin can definitely probably get him out. I won't say get him out of there, but I think he'll take that belt if he's smart and he pressures Quillen. Sturm, I don't think Sturm can do anything anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Quillen and this Fernando Guerrero fight, I think it's going to be very interesting. Guerrero, he's very aggressive, and I think that's going to be a key for Quillen to pretty much
Slick as well, isn't he? Slick fighter.
Yeah, but I just think that Quillen is going to, in the end, I think he's actually going to knock him out, to be honest. I think Quillen's going to stop him probably in the middle round, 6th or 7th round. I think Quillen's going to get him out of there.
Okay. Do you need to get that?
It was just my phone. I'm just going to put it on vibrate. But go ahead.
The last one, anyway. Danny Garcia versus Zab Judah. Last fight of the month.
Danny Garcia and Zab Judah.
Danny Garcia's been, he's gained his rep as a one-punch killer.
Yeah, they call him the green-eyed killer for whatever reason. Zab Judah, man. Zab Judah is hot and cold when he wants to be. It depends on what kind of Judah wants to be. Because against Khan, he looked like a deer in headlights. He just looked like he didn't know what the hell to do. And then he fought Vernon Paris, and he looked good against, Vernon Paris? And I'm like, well, Vernon Paris isn't a top contender. And how did Judah get that belt? Who did he beat to get that belt?
He has him Mabuza.
Oh, that's right. That I think he's the African dude. I think we went over there. No, didn't he lose it, or did he win it from him?
He won the IBF title from Kaz Mabuza.
I feel like that fight was like 30 years ago.
And then before that, he beat Matisse.
Yeah.
Well,
And Matisse had that fight. I mean, it wasn't like Matisse destroyed him, but I think I had Matisse up by a round or two to win that fight. But yeah, that fight is going to be very much on what Zab Judah is going to show up. I think Danny Garcia is probably going to get him out of there, probably in the 7th or 8th round. I don't think it's going to go to a decision. I think Danny Garcia has a little bit of a cannon in them arms.
Yeah.
But you see, Danny Garcia is another fighter that you kind of like him or you like to hate him. Danny Garcia is a fighter who doesn't really do a lot of things especially well. He's a good fighter, but he isn't somebody that you can be like, wow, that guy is very good at this, or that guy is very good at that. He's just he's an all-around a good fighter. He's all around a good fighter. I just think Zab Judah is just a little bit past his prime. I think he's gonna get knocked out, in my opinion.
You think? I'm gonna go against you, and I think it's gonna go to a points decision. Garcia's gonna win it. Reason being, I think the last few fights have shown Danny Garcia, he thinks that movement is devil work. Speed speed against him isn't too good. So I think Judah, having the longer reach, could stick a jab. I don't think he'll do enough to win, but he could survive.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to say. And unfortunately, that's all we've got time for.
Okay.
So I'll put your Twitter and I'll put your YouTube boxing page in the what's it called? In the details.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's it.